Hello, and welcome to the Budget Knitter Podcast. My name is Will Spargur. I am your host. I am coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, where I live with my 2 dogs and my husband. And today is... what is today? Today is a Friday. I know today is a Friday, even though it doesn't feel like Friday because I have to work tomorrow. But this is episode 25, I believe, which is really cool. We are coming up... I think I'm just a month out from having done this for a year, so that's really cool, really excited. Today is your typical podcast. I've got a few new things to show you, but for those of you who are new and have never been here before, welcome to the family. You can find me on Ravelry as WSpargurKnits. You can find me on Twitter as WSpargurKnits. You can find me on Instagram as WillMSU. There's a Facebook page for this group thing, and that is facebook.com/thebudgetknitter. There is also a Ravelry group for this. If you search the Budget Knitter podcast in the Ravelry Groups search section, you should be able to find the group, and you can join in any of the threads that we have there. And then I also have an Etsy shop, which is thebudgetknitter.etsy.com. That's a really fun thing that I like to do, kind of in my spare time. I sell hand-dyed yarn and stitch markers and some of the finished objects that I make that are just kind of a little bit generic, but I like selling those things there. So if you have any interest, you can check that out. All of those links are going to be in the video description box below, so you can go follow me on all of the socials. And 2 weeks ago, I decided to try out this lapel mic, and you guys really like it, so we're going to stick with it. It did take a little bit of getting used to. When I went back to edit the video, it was a little interesting to listen to because it sounded so much closer. But I think it sounded a little more organic. It sounded a little more NPR-ish, which I actually really like. I like that sound, and I think it's just a little bit clearer. And I did see that some of you said you were hard of hearing, so now you can hear me a little bit better. And I'm really glad that I'm able to do that for you. So we're going to stick with the mic, and shouldn't be any sound issues from now on unless there's some kind of weird technical glitch, which, let's face it, will probably happen at some point. Anyway, so real quick, there's a couple of threads in the Ravelry group that I want to bring your attention to. If you are new, the seasoned subscribers will know of these, but for those of you who are new, we have the Finished Objects of 2018. That is a thread where you go in and you just post pictures of the objects that you finish anytime between January 1st and December 31st of this year. There's no prizes or anything associated with the giveaway. There's no prizes or anything associated with that thread. It is merely just a celebration of finishing objects, of us being able to say, oh, that looks really cool, I'm so happy for you. And I like to pop in there and show my love, and I click the love button every time. Finished Objects of 2018, post in there when you finish an object. It's just a great way to celebrate our productivity for this year. And then the other one that we've got going on right now is the Charity Along 2018. So anything that you're making for charity, you can post in that thread. I want to know what it is, I want to see a picture of it, and I want to know where you're donating it to, whether that be an organization, a person, like a hospital, or maybe you're going to donate it to one of the international organizations, something like that. Just whoever you're donating it to, I'd like to know that as well. There are going to be prizes associated with that when we finally close that, which I believe is the end of September. So you can post your stuff in there. We've got a lot of really, really beautiful blankets and shawls and things that have been going in there for things like Project Linus and the VA. So there's a lot of different options. If you want to make things for, if you're doing like preemie hats or cancer patient hats, I think they call those chemo hats. That may not be right. So if you're doing anything like that, each object counts as an entry. It doesn't matter how big or how small. Because this really is more about using our talents and our gifts to be able to give to those in need. So you can post those in the Charity Along thread, and we will be accepting finished objects all the way through the end of September. So that's there for you as well. So continuing right along, I'm really liking this format of getting all of the knitting things done at the beginning. And then for those of you that are new, I do some life updates at the end. So if when we get through all of the fiber related things, I'll let you know. And if you don't want to stick around for the, the more personal stuff, you're more than welcome to click off and have your day and do what you do. For those of you that like to stick around, I will have a few life updates there at the end. So let's move on to my works in progress. So I actually have a lot more on the needles than I'm going to show you, and that's because from where I filmed the last episode a little later in the week, I haven't had as much time in between. Plus I've had a few cast-ons and a few other things that I've been working on. So in terms of actual works in progress, I've got more cast on than I'm going to show. I'm going to show you the new things. A lot of the older things I haven't made a lot of progress on. So the first thing is hiding. It's going to be my new pair of socks. You will see the finished socks in a minute, but I'm going to show you the ones that I've cast on this week in my lovely knitting unicorn bag. I think this came from Knit Picks, to be honest. Yeah, it's a Knit Picks bag, so you can get that on knitpicks.com if you're interested in one of these. I actually picked this up at a store in Lexington, Kentucky, but let me get this out. So this is the yarn. It's definitely a self-striping yarn, but I've got... Good catch, Will. You're a ninja. Let's not do that again. I'm gonna do it again, apparently. Okay, so this is how much I have of the first sock. Cast on at the toe with Judy's Magic Cast On. I used 2 circulars to do magic loop, and I'm just doing stockinette all the way up. My normal formula was to cast on 12 and increase up to, or well, I guess cast on 24, but 12 on each side, and then increase up to 64 for the round. I found that 64 has been a little too snug for my foot, so I've increased to doing 72 for this pair, and hopefully it feels a little big now. This yarn isn't as grabby as the last yarn, so it feels a little bigger, but I imagine that's just an optical illusion from seeing it. I imagine it's not going to be that much looser when I wear it. I don't know what the name of this yarn is. It didn't have a label. However, there was a couple podcasts ago where I asked you guys to vote between 2 different yarns for me to cast on my next pair of socks, and this was the winner. So this is how it's knitting up. I really like it, and so far there's not really any discernible repeat. It's kind of just random in terms of when the colors show up in the pattern, and there are some where the color is literally just one row, and then it moves on to the next. So I don't know if at some point there will be a repeat of the colors in the order that they are on here currently. I don't know. It's still a surprise. One of my favorite things about these types of yarns is just the surprise you get in the order of colors and the way that they knit up. So I'm really excited to get as far as I need to get. For me, I knit about 7.5 to 8 inches for the foot, and then I do my heel. I have been using a German short row heel, which I really like. I've figured out kind of how to really get it to work. But I think I'm going to go back and try the Fish Lips Kiss heel on this one. I've seen a few of my friends at the knit shop who use the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and theirs seemed to be better than the one I did, but I was re-examining a pair of socks I have where I did do the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and noticed that it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was at the time. So I think I'm going to go back and try it. I think I'm going to try it one more time, give it a go. You know, I've got a little bit more experience knitting socks now. So I think I'm going to give it a go on this pair, see how it goes, see if I like it, and if I don't, I'll just go back to my German short row. Or there's a sweet tomato heel that I'd like to try at some point too. But for now, I think I'm going to try the Fish Lips Kiss heel one more time, see how it goes, and then we will, well, I'll let you know how I feel about it. I think when I did it, I just wasn't pulling tight enough in the places it told you to keep really snug. So again, we'll see how things go, what I like, and I'll update you when I get to the heel on this. Oh, US2's Chowgu 9-inch circular. That's my go-to needle. But again, for the toe, I use 2 circulars on US2's to do magic loop for the increases, because I don't like doing magic loop with 1 circular. And then for the heel, I'll slip the heel stitches onto a circular and work it as if it's a straight needle, and work the heel, and then I'll put it all back on the 9-inch and continue up the cuff. I think I'm going to do twisted rib on the cuff for this one. I've been really enjoying twisted rib on some of my other finished objects, so I think I'm going to stick with that. I think that's going to be kind of my go-to ribbing, except maybe on hats. I like my 2x2 on hats. I like my 2x2 ribbing on hats. So, next thing. What did I have listed? I made notes. Oh, right. Okay, so I cast on... Wrong bag. I cast on another sweater. I haven't gotten too far, but I thought it warranted showing. So, I don't remember what this yarn is, and you'll notice that this is a flat piece currently. This is a pattern called the Incredible Custom Fit Raglan Sweater. It's by Pamela Costello. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. There, at one point in a past podcast, I mentioned how the first flack sweater I ever knit boat-necked. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the boat neck. It was too wide, too open. I felt like I had to wear something under it just because it showed so much neck. And on that one, it came up to like here. And it just felt really uncomfortable. So it pulled wide here, but it came up here, and it just felt weird. And so somebody, I mentioned that I was trying to figure out how I could drop the front of the collar so that it would look like a traditional crew neck. And somebody pointed this pattern out to me. So the way that it works is she tells you, basically there's a little bit of math involved. You have to put in, she tells you to cast on 20 stitches with your intended yarn and needle size, and you knit for a while, and then you you get your gauge, and it says, she doesn't ask you to get how many stitches per inch, she wants to know how wide your swatch ends up being with 20 stitches, and then you divide by 4, or I don't remember exactly how she does it. There's a little bit of math in there. Anyway, so for the yarn I'm using, I ended up with 5 stitches per inch after 20 stitches, so mine is, so 5 stitches per inch. I ended up with a 4-inch swatch. So that math worked out really well. But then you put in your neck size and the height from your base of your neck to your underarm, and then you measure from your underarm to however long you want the sweater to be. And you make all of these measurements, like armpit to or sleeve length. You do all of these measurements, and then you just do a little bit of math, and she tells you exactly what to divide by. And it basically gives you a number of stitches to cast on for your neck. And then you cast on a certain number, and then you start doing increases on the inside here at the edge of the flat piece, but you also do your increases at the sleeve stitches, and until you get to a certain number of stitches, and then you cast on the remaining front stitches, and then you finally join in the round and start knitting all the way around. Then when you've finished the entirety of the sweater, sleeves and all, you go back and you pick up your neck stitches and knit the collar. So it makes a true crew neck. So that's what I'm doing. I'm giving this a try. It's spelled out really well how this works. I love this yarn, but it didn't have a label either. And I have 4 skeins of it, and not a single one of them has a label. But it's really soft. It's a worsted weight, so it's going to be a great winter sweater. I'm really excited. I don't know if I have enough to knit the body and the sleeves in this yarn, but if I don't have enough to do the sleeves, then I actually have a Tweedy tan, which I think it kind of matches this tan up here. I might do the sleeves in that and have, matching sleeves. But yeah, I'm going to try this out. I think the idea is that the pattern is supposed to create a perfect fitting sweater every time. So if you wanted to add cables to the body of your sweater, you would do a gauge swatch with cables and then input your math and do everything, and it'll tell you exactly how many stitches you're gonna need to knit your sweater with that cable pattern in it. So because with cables you don't get quite the stretch, it pulls everything in. So it's a really cool pattern, and she does mention in there that she got it from somebody who got it from somebody who got it from somebody. She's just kind of updated it and included the chart and the approximate yardage for the yarn, for how much you'll need for sizes, for every yarn weight. So it's a really, really cool pattern. I encourage you to check it out. Incredible Custom Fit Raglan by Pamela Costello. I will put that information in the video description box below. Hi, baby. We have a visitor. Do you want to say hi? You want to say hi? Oh, no. Kiss? Can I get a kiss? Can I get a kiss? Nope, no kiss. Okay. Go on. Go play with Princess. Go play with Princess. Oh, well, do you want to stay with me? Do you want to stay with me? She's just going to stare at me. Oh, okay. Oh, no. What are we doing? This isn't a game. It's not time for a game. Oh, she thinks it's a game. Okay. Anyway, so that's the sweater I cast on. I'm going to put that up. All right, and I've got one other thing to show you, which is not the actual project. So I'm going to explain it here for a second. And I got to grab it. Sweetie, go play. Go play. Go play with Princess. Okay. So in here I posted a little bit of this on Instagram. This is a very poor concept for a shawl that I'm designing. So the inspiration for this, hold on, I'm going to show it to you. Oops, a little bit longer, so you can really get the full idea of what's going on here. And this isn't the final pattern. I've changed a couple of things. I added some twisted stitches. This was just really kind of making sure I knew how to knit the cable. And I was trying some bind-off ideas, and none of them worked out, so I'm going to go back to a traditional one. Anyway, so this pattern is going to be something that I release really soon, as soon as I finish knitting the sample shawl. As many of you know, I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it was almost a year ago, so on October 1st, 2017, Stephen Pollock shattered his windows at the Mandalay Bay and fired down into a crowd of people at a music festival, killing 58 and injuring many, many others. So the anniversary of that is coming up. And I wanted to do what I could to memorialize that, do something in memory of them. So what I'm doing is I'm designing this shawl. It's called the Guiding Light Shawl. And I only have a little bit cast on with the yarn I intend to use. However, I'm also dyeing yarn for this, and it's a yarn called There Is Always Hope. I don't have it on me right now, but it's basically white with gold. So it's called so the yarn is called There Is Always Hope, and the pattern is called Guiding Light. And it will have different elements of kind of my journey with acceptance with what happened. I mean, I know I wasn't there, but it was still a very traumatic event because as my generation tends to live on the internet, I watched it unfold on social media. I saw a lot of things that I wish I hadn't seen, just because of how horrific they were. And, you know, it's terrifying. And I've had to come to terms with a lot of things in my life, one of them being death, one of them being pain, one of them being evil. And what I wanted to do with this is kind of make a statement of, here's how I dealt with it. Here's how I understand life to work. But, you know, there's a lot of beauty in life, and there's a lot of things that are positive in life, regardless of the terrible things that happen. And so this design is my way of paying tribute to those who lost their lives, and to those who, you know, survived. You know, that's still something that they have to live with every day. So I am designing that, and so that is the concept. I have cast on with the yarn that I intend to use, but I haven't gotten very far. The concept, I was just kind of trying some things out, so I didn't write anything down. Once I kind of nailed down, and I had a pretty good idea of how I was going to have it work, I was able to kind of make some adjustments on the fly, and I've incorporated that into the pattern that I've started. I've written out about the first 62 rows, I think. 62 sounds about right. So I'm actually, that is the first repeat of the cable. So now I need to write the part that will repeat until the end of the shawl. So the pattern should be coming soon, and I don't know exactly how I intend to release it. Some people have suggested maybe doing a pre-order, so I know exactly how many I need to dye in terms of yarn, or maybe I just wait. The problem with waiting is that I kind of need the yarn now so that I can dye it and get it out, because if I wait, then I might not have all the yarn in time, and I'd rather have it available for everybody that wants it. So I'm still figuring that out, but I don't have a lot of time because October 1st is in 2 months, and I'd like to have it out before then. So anyway, if you're interested in that, I'd like to know your thoughts. It will be for purchase, and it will be the yarn and the pattern. It's a fingering weight shawl, not worsted weight. The sample was on worsted weight so I could see what I was doing. I haven't done cables in a while. But the shawl will be fingering weight. So that's another thing to take into consideration. But I do kind of want to know your thoughts on whether I should do pre-orders or whether I should just wait and release them all at once. The other thing is, we still have the Las Vegas Victims Fund. So I do intend to sell it and then donate a portion of the proceeds to the Las Vegas Victims Fund. That's kind of my way. I don't really have a whole lot of money to give myself, so if I can do something to remember them and pay tribute, and then, you know, from that be able to give to the Victims Fund, then I would really, that would make me extremely happy. I recently heard from a friend that sometimes you just need to put positive energy out into the world, and so I'm hoping that this is a way that I can put positive energy out into the world in more ways than one. So let me know your thoughts on that. That is, it's something important to me, so I kind of want to know what you think about it. I do plan to show more of how the pattern will look once I get more of it knit. I just don't have really anything to show you yet. So anyway, moving on. That's all I have in terms of works in progress. Again, I have quite a few other things cast on that I'm not showing you just because I haven't made any progress on it. But we are going to go straight into my finished objects because I got 3 of them, I think. 1, 2, 2 and a sorta. So the first one is I finished some socks, and they're cute. I guess you can't really see them when I'm shaking them. Anyway, so I finished some socks. This is Carlton sock yarn using my regular formula. And these are going to be for my friend, or my coworker and friend, Courtney. I realized that these were that much too tight, but they fit Courtney perfectly, so she's getting these. I finished these about a week. Oops. I finished these about a week ago. They've been washed, they've been blocked. I know a lot of people don't block their socks, but there's something about blocking them that just makes them sit the way that I like. So, yeah. Anywho, so I finished those. Those are fingering weight, 75% merino wool and 25% nylon. And the first one always goes faster than the second one. Yeah. Anywho, so that's really that. That's that. My socks, there's not really a whole lot to mention because I don't use a pattern or anything. I knit stockinette because stockinette is fast. Hold on, I'm answering something. Okay, so second finished object, which is my sort of finished object, is this crochet scarf. This is just in one skein of Caron Simply Soft. It's actually a smaller skein. I think the current ones are somewhere in the like 300 yards or more. This is only like 150, I think. I don't remember what size hook I used. Wait. I don't need to remember. It's hiding in here. 6mm. I don't know what that is in the other sizes. That hook only lists the millimeters. So help me out. And so this is just a granny stitch scarf. This was supposed to be for some kind of charity thing, but they wanted a very specific 4 inches by 60 inches. And mine is like 7 inches by 40 inches, so they wouldn't take it. Because they want everybody's to be the same. Even though you're allowed to use your own pattern, and you're allowed to use any yarn as long as it's bright red, and it can be knit or crochet. But apparently, because mine is too wide and not long enough, which I can fix the not long enough thing, I can add yarn. Duh. Yeah, but apparently because it's too wide that it's not the same. Like, I think the fact that these are for women with heart disease, anybody's just going to be happy that they're getting anything at all. They're battling in, disease, and it's like, why do we care so much about it? Because it's for a good thing. Why are we putting so much specifics on it? Like, why can't I give this? So instead, I'm going to donate it to a charity of my own because I think that was kind of crap. But whatever. People have it in their heads that things have to be a certain way, and who am I to sit here and tell them different? Anyway, so 6mm hook, granny stitch. I don't remember how many stitches it was across. I know it's it's like 6 shells across. About 40 inches. Anyway, it's a cute little scarf. I might add to it. But yeah, so I made that. Just a short little sort of finished object. Nothing hugely crazy about it. Ooh, I'm keeping it in this Christmas bag that my mom gave me. I know it's July, but I still really love Christmas, so we're doing Christmas. And the last finished object, which is my favorite, is my finished Flack Sweater, 100% complete. Sleeves done, body done, ends woven in. It has been washed. I tell you what, this is soft. This is Lion Brand Mandala, and it was soft to begin with, but then I washed it. Oh my goodness. 1 round through the washer and dryer, and this is one of the softest things I have felt in a really long time. I have hats with merino wool that aren't this soft. So this is incredible. I love it. I would put it on, but I am dying of heat right now. We hit 117 degrees today. So it's hot. Nothing really keeps up when it's that hot. No air conditioning, nothing really keeps up. I've got fans going, I've got everything I possibly can going. I mean, it's comfortable if I'm not doing a lot, but it's still hot. Anyway, love this, love the way it turned out, so thrilled. Definitely going to be wearing it as it gets cooler in like November. But yes, finished Flack Sweater. This was a DK weight yarn, Lion Brand Mandala, knit on US 8. And it's the Flack Sweater by Tin Can Knits, and I knit the extra large size. Turned out beautifully. It does have the boat neck that I don't like, but it's wide enough and low enough that it doesn't bother me. And if I wear a collared shirt under it, it's going to look fantastic. So yeah, that's done. It's beautiful. Thrilled with it, like beyond thrilled with it. Actually, I literally finished knitting this and then pulled out the incredible custom fit Raglan, was like, and we're going to make another sweater because I'm obsessed with sweaters now. So there's that. Who knew that I would become obsessed with sweater knitting? Can't help it. It's so much fun. Okay, so with the finishing of the Flack Sweater, that means that the knit-along for the Flack Sweater is coming to an end. You have 2 months from my last update, which, by the way, that update has been posted. I show you how to weave in the ends and everything to finish your sweater, except for blocking, because I didn't really understand how to block it. But Emily did comment on that video and tell me how to block it, which is, if it's acrylic, lay it out flat, steam it, don't touch your iron to it, but steam it until it lays flat, and then just let it dry and cool, and then after that you can wash and dry it as many times as you want, and it's never going to change. The great thing with blocking acrylic is you only have to block it once. So yeah, that's an awesome thing about that. So other than that, the video shows you everything you need about weaving in your ends and closing up your holes and doing all of the finishing work for your sweater. So go check that out if you haven't. You have 2 months. You have, I think I'm actually giving you until the September 30th. I'm giving you until January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, September 30th. Does anybody know that trick? Anyway, September 30th is when you have to have your flax sweaters done and your photos posted in the finished flax knit along thread. By the way, please no chatter in that thread. It kind of messes with the comment count, even though I think I'm going to draw names anyway. But please just post your finished objects in there, and if you like it, just hit the love button. If you want to talk about more of it, there's a chatter thread as well. You can talk in there. The chatter thread also, by the way, you can share your progress, do whatever you need to do to be like, hey, look how far I've gotten, or look at the way this yarn is knitting up, or hey, I've gotten to this point and I don't quite understand it. Can anybody explain it? By the way, ask questions. I am happy to answer questions. If you have any kind of question at all, my email is going to be in the video description box below as well. You can email me any questions you have especially if you don't like use Ravelry or any of those things. You can ask me questions on there. And there are prizes associated with the flax knit along, so we still have 2 months. If you want to knit a flax sweater, I guarantee you can knit a flax in 2 months. It's so simple, and it's such a gorgeous sweater for beginners. So, and for anybody. It's a great sweater for everybody. So that's there. So for the next knit along, that's tutorial oriented. I want to do knit alongs that are tutorial oriented and ones that aren't tutorial oriented. So like we have the charity along, we're not doing tutorials or anything with that. It's just a charity along. But so I think the next one I want to do that has tutorials, a lot of people have requested socks. So I think socks is the way we're going to go. But I have a really important question because it's going to determine how much work I do on my end. Do you want me to teach you socks from my current formula and we'll just do it that way? Or do you want me to show you the different techniques I know in terms of toes and heels and cuffs and whether you start top down or toe up versus magic loop, DPNs, 9-inch circs? Do you want all of that information, or do you just want to knit it the way that I currently knit my socks? I'm perfectly fine either way. I just want to know so that I can kind of prepare, because that's going to involve a lot of samples, getting a bunch of samples knit up. So if you guys want me to show you all of the different techniques that I know of, I know there's a lot more that I don't know, but if you want me to show you the things I do know so that you can kind of have a build your own socks, then let me know if that's the way you want to go. Happy to do it, just want to know. The other thing is, for some of the techniques, I'll show you how to do them in worsted weight, just because it's faster, but you can apply all of the techniques to fingering weight or sock weight yarn. But by the end, we will do a pair of socks in sock weight yarn if that's what you want to do. So we're definitely going to do socks. Just let me know, do you want my current formula, or do you want me to show you all the different things that I know how to do so that you can kind of build your own and figure out what you like? Let me know in the comment section below, and whichever gets the higher version of choices, votes, yeah, we'll say votes, then we'll do that, and I'll let you know when that's going to start. I probably won't start doing that until the Flax knit along has closed, just because socks are usually faster, first of all, but I don't want anybody to feel like they're trying to do two things at the same time. So we'll wait until the Flax knit along is officially closed at the end of September, and I will try to have things prepared to go up immediately after. So I might start my stuff a little early, but the official knit along won't start until after the Flax is closed. So, yeah. Okay, so moving on, there's a few things that I want to show you for my Etsy store, because I feel like it's important to show you guys. And I know if you don't favorite the shop or you don't follow me on any of the social medias, you're not actually seeing what I've been creating. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that here and kind of give you an idea about what might be coming up in the future. So right now, the first thing is I have stitch markers. I don't actually have any of them made. I make stitch markers to sell as sets, but I also make them so when somebody orders yarn, you get a free stitch marker as part of it. You know, I just started doing that because I thought it was a really cool way to just to say thank you. Like, thank you for your purchase. Here's this free thing that I made, and I hope you enjoy it. It's a free thing. No need to worry about, you know, paying me back for it or anything. It's just my way of showing appreciation. So I've got a few different types of stitch markers available in the shop. In terms of giving the free one, I just give a free one, like I just kind of pick at random. So, but the other ones, you can see kind of what's available. There's like some positive words, there's some Christmas ones, and then there's my Vegas-inspired stitch markers as well. So all of those are available in the Etsy shop. Hi, sweetie. Hi. Hi. She will not leave my feet. Okay, so I've got a few new yarns in the shop now. The first one is this one. It is red and purple, and there's a lot of white space still in there as well. This was I tried a new technique with this, and I'm actually really thrilled with how it turned out. I'm calling this one Albion. It's Arthurian legend inspired. It is basically Pendragon red and Mystic purple. It's kind of the mix of the kingship with magic. I also kind of took it from the TV show Merlin. It's one of my favorite TV shows, so it's definitely inspired by that. Merlin wears a lot of purple, Arthur wears a lot of red, Pendragon red, and you know, the show has a lot to do with their friendship, or if you ship them as a couple, their relationship. There's a lot of fan fiction for Merlin, but this is inspired by that, so it's called Albion. And this is currently on sport weight 100% Peruvian Highland wool. I have 3 of these available currently. That may change by the time this video goes up, but I do intend to dye more of this. This has actually been a very popular colorway in terms of, I've been taking some votes and some consensus and doing a little research. People really like this, so I do intend to dye more of this one. The second one actually is currently sold out, but I'm going to be dyeing it on worsted very soon. Because I do have some worsted, and this is one of my other popular colors that people like. This is called Bruce the Ferret. There is somebody who follows me on Instagram, and I don't know if she watches the podcast. I think she does watch the podcasts, but she streams on Twitch her crocheting, and she's been working on her knitting, but she has a crochet buddy named Bruce, and he's a ferret. So I dyed this colorway as kind of an inspiration from him. So it's brown with black speckles and some white space to represent, you know, kind of the gray fur that he's got like on his underbelly. So that was on fingering, but I actually had somebody buy all 3 of them today. Well, I had one person buy 1 and one person buy the other 2. So I'm going to dye this on worsted here coming up. There will be more available, but if you guys really like this, let me know. I'm happy to do more of this one. The third one is one of my favorites because it didn't turn out as planned, but it actually kind of is a little bit better than I expected. It's this one. This is called Used College Textbook. So my inspiration behind this, I was trying to do kind of a Save the Bees colorway. I'm not like passionate, but I'm very aware of the issues that are happening with bees around the world. They're just dying in massive numbers and we don't really know why. And if the bees go, we all go. And that was kind of made clear in the Bee Movie, if you've seen that. But if the bees go, we all go. And so my inspiration was to try to dye something that was kind of a bumblebee color and then put some pink speckles in it to, remind us that bees pollinate flowers. Well, the yellow I have apparently is not like a deep, vibrant yellow. It is a fluorescent yellow. So this came looking like a highlighter, and so did the pink. And so what has appeared is what looks like a used textbook you buy in college when the person who had it before you was that kid who takes a lot of notes and is very clear about all the important stuff that you're going to need to know in that class. So that's how that turned out, and this is called Used College Textbook. This is on fingering weight. All of the fingering weight I have is 75-25 wool and nylon, so all of them will work for socks, but that's available on the shop as well. And the last one I've got going up right now, by the way, I do still have Desert Sunrise and Playing with Mom's Makeup. Those are both available on the store. Those are kind of my staples, my go-tos. People really find those popular, so those are available as well. And then I have my fishbowl colorway, which you guys loved, which I don't have that hat around here. Oh yeah, I do. Fishbowl knit up like this. This is worsted weight. When I originally dyed it on worsted weight, but a lot of people actually requested it on fingering weight. So this is fishbowl on fingering weight. I have 5 of these available at the current moment. I haven't put them up in the shop yet. They should be up by the time this video goes up, but at this current moment, I haven't updated the listing yet. The listing still shows it on sport weight or something. So I need to go update the listing for fingering weight, but this is available in the shop as well. So that's, I think, everything I have, in terms of the yarn that I have available right now. I do have some colorways that I'm going to dye on worsted. Fingering is kind of my go-to. When I did some research about which thicknesses of yarn people prefer, and fingering won by a long shot. So I dye everything on fingering first, and then I move on to my sport weights and worsted. The sport weight I buy is actually more of a DK, so it can go either way on that. But I tend to do it all on my fingering weight first and then move on to my sport and worsted weight. So there will be some worsted weight colorways coming soon, but in terms of what I have right now, all of it is on fingering weight except for Albion, which is on sport weight. Okay, so that's it for my Etsy store update. I do have a couple of favorite things. So we're going to do a couple of favorite things. And my first favorite thing is I bought some fabric because I decided, I have this sewing machine. I've had it for, gosh, I want to say a year and a half now. And all I've used it for is to repair clothes on occasion. So I felt like I needed to do something else with it, and when I really started to kind of get into this podcasting and all of this stuff, I realized that I would love to make my own project bags on occasion. Not that I don't want to buy anybody else's, because I love other people's craftsmanship. It's just one of those things where I think it'd be really fun. And I'm trying to do more giveaways, and, I want to do giveaway kits coming up in the future. And I'd really love to start getting to a place where I can do a giveaway every episode, because you guys deserve it. I love you guys. You give me so much incredible support that I want to be able to give back to you. So I really want to start doing like care packages. Like this week, the care package is this bag with this yarn and a few notions, and this is how you're going to win it. And I would love to do that, if not every podcast, every month. So that's something that I'm trying to work towards. So one of the things I want to do is make project bags so that I can do that. Now, if there's anybody out there who makes anything that you want to include in some sort of like care package giveaway, please contact me either by email or on Ravelry, some form or another, and let me know that you want to do that. I am so happy to do those things for you. I love, especially if you are kind of a cost-conscious seller, because again, this audience is oriented towards the budget side of this craft. So if you have something that's budget conscious or more in the affordable realm, or you just really want to promote your stuff, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to do that, and I think that would be a great way to spread the love. So if you are somebody who has any of those things, please let me know. Please, please, please let me know. Really, I would really love to team up with you. Anyway, so I bought some fabric. So the first one I bought is this one. It's just a plain kind of black and white flower fabric. I bought 2 squares of this at Michael's. It was like $1.50 each for 1 square. So I bought this, but I want this to be the inside, and I want this one to be the outside. And Zach of the Stout Stitch podcast is going to go nuts when he realizes what is on this. This is the second fabric I bought. I'm going to leave it up here so that Zach can figure out what it is, so that he can go do a little happy dance. Okay, so yeah, Zach, it's owls. So I bought that fabric. Now, this is huge. This is definitely not one bag, but I want to line it. I want to have the owls be the outside and the white be the inside. And I could probably get 2 bags out of this, maybe even more. But, I was thinking medium-sized bags. But something simple, maybe just a drawstring bag. And, yeah, just a simple drawstring bag, something that I can definitely figure out, because I've used a sewing machine like maybe 5 times in my entire life. So this, I think, would be a great way for me to really figure out how to do that, and I'm actually really excited to try it. I'm also a little scared because I'm one of those people that I get really upset with myself if I can't get something right on the first try, and I get really discouraged because I used to be somebody who could pick stuff up really, really easily, and I've gotten as I've gotten older and I've taken up more difficult things, I'm not getting them on the first try, and that can be frustrating. So I actually have a friend who does a lot of sewing, and she said that we could get together with our sewing machines and she would teach me. So I'm excited for that idea because, she sells flannels with band tees where she cuts out the back and puts a band tee on it. So she makes a lot of those, and so she's really good at sewing, and I want her to teach me how to make a bag, and she knows how to do it. So we're going to get together. I don't know when, but we are going to get together, and she's going to teach me how to do that. So I'm excited about that. The second thing, you guys are you're going to die. Okay. So I was encouraged to try spinning, and I fell down that rabbit hole. But I didn't have a spindle. I didn't really know where to get one. There actually is somebody with some hand-painted drop spindles that I'm going to purchase from. I can't remember her shop off the top of my head, but I did talk to her a little bit. She makes these beautiful hand-painted drop spindles, and I think I'm definitely going to buy one of hers. But in the meantime, somebody had told me that you can make one with a fidget spinner. Yes, that's right, a fidget spinner. Those really annoying things that children carried around for like a year because they were popular. Yes, a fidget spinner. So I looked up how to make it, and I made it. And then I didn't have any roving, but I was in Michael's one day, and I noticed that Michael's sells roving for needle felting. They sell wool for needle felting. This. I'm not even kidding. This is roving for needle felting. So I bought some plain white. And what did I do because I got ahead of myself? I bought it in rainbow. Because the idea was, oh, if I get good at it, I'll just go down the colors of the rainbow and I will make a self-striping rainbow yarn because, you know, I'm ambitious. So anyway, I went home and I made my fidget spinner spindle. So I have to share this with you because it's just so incredibly funny. So most drop spindles, it's got a hook on the top and you spin it and you hold it, then you park and draft, and then you wrap it around the bottom of the spindle. This is very different. You put the center of the fidget spinner onto a wooden dowel, and then you do your lead and everything. There's a video of it on YouTube. It's really funny. There's only one guy, but it's one video. Anyway, okay. So I'm just gonna show you. So you get about that much fidget spinner on a wooden dowel. You get about this much. I'm not quite perfectly consistent yet on drafting, but this much. Then basically you hold it out and you take the fidget spinner and you hold the yarn a little loose. If you pull it tight, it won't spin. But then you just, of course, the more yarn that's on here, the harder it is for it to spin. But then you just spin it until you build up the spin. And you probably won't be able to see this, but basically you park, draft, release, park, draft, release, until the energy from the spin is gone. And then, so we're still going here a little bit. Look at that. We got quite a bit out of that. Then you take it, because that's too much. You wrap it around the width of the fidget spinner arm, and then you would start over. And you would spin the spinner again until you are done. And so, yeah, that's what I've been up to in terms of spinning. That is the fidget spinner spindle. I will link that video in the description box below so that you guys can see that. And if you're interested, you can make one. He also shows you how you can turn it into a traditional drop spindle, so that's available as well in terms of if you want to make a DIY drop spindle. Fidget spinners. I'm amused as well. Okay, so that's my favorite things. This is the end of the knitting portion. If you are only here for the knitting, you may click away. I want to thank you so much for joining me. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you liked it. If not, you may, well, if you didn't like it, I'm actually kind of curious as to how you stuck around for so long. But no, if you didn't, please don't give me a thumbs down. It gives me a lot of anxiety, which will also now probably give me a lot of thumbs down. Anyway, okay, so thank you for those who stuck around to this point. If you're not sticking around for the life updates, please feel free to go about your merry way. For those of you that are sticking around, I've got a couple of life updates for you, and we'll get into that, and then we will end the episode. So, the dog is on the bed. Get down. Get down. Go. Go. You're shaking everything. I have to throw something at you. Go. Oh, no, don't take that. Get down. Go. She doesn't like to listen to me sometimes. Okay. So, couple of life updates. First things first. In the last podcast, I mentioned that Lee's dad was really sick. He was in the hospital. Outlook wasn't looking good. Not 2 hours after I finished filming the podcast, he died. So he died in the afternoon. They had moved him to hospice care, and about 5 hours later, he was gone. So, really sad. We had to deal with that. Now we're kind of dealing with the aftermath of that, which is Lee's mom is moving here, and we're supposed to be moving in with her, meaning that I have to move. And I have a month to find a new place. If I'm moving, my lease is up at the end of August. That is terrifying and stressful for me, because when I know that I'm going to be moving, I start planning months in advance. I start thinking about things that I don't need, that I can pack up, that I can absolutely have just ready to go, things that I absolutely know I won't need. Like if I'm going to be moving in the summer, then I'll pack up my winter clothes. If I'm going to be, I know I can't read every book on my shelf, so I'll start packing up books. I'll start packing up dishes that we don't use. I'll start, doing everything I can to just kind of clear out the cutter, and it helps me to know, like, when it gets closer to time, the things that I do need just have to be put away really quick and moved. But now that I have a month, and on top of that, I haven't found a place. She doesn't know when she's moving out here, specifically, but we can't have her, it'll definitely be within the next year, but we can't have her in the one bedroom, which means that we have to move. But the problem with that is that we might have to move before she's able to contribute financially for rent or anything else. And that's terrifying, because I'm breaking even as it is. And then the thought of having 1 month to come up with a new security deposit and, rental trucks and boxes and just everything that goes into moving, I am terrified right now, because homes that have enough space for the three of us are not cheap out here, rent or own, and right now I'm not able to own. So I'm scared. I'm very, very scared about what that means for my future. I don't want to move. I like where we're located. Moving means packing. Moving means higher rent, switching utilities, transferring service, changing the address on everything, getting a new ID. It's just, there's so much that goes into moving, and I don't have time to prepare for it. It's like, it's coming, and you've got to be ready, and you've got to go. So I'm just so scared right now, and I'm trying to remain positive. I'm trying to put positive energy out into the world. I'm trying to tackle it one step at a time. First things first, we've got to find something. We've got to find something that's available, something that's open, something that will take our credit. We've got to do, if we can pinpoint a place, we can worry about the rest. The problem is that we've got to pinpoint a place. We've got a 2-bedroom in this complex that's available, which would be nice, because then I could just walk everything down over the next month. So there's a place opening up in the complex, but it's a 2-bedroom. The problem with that is Lee's mom doesn't really leave the house. She doesn't drive. That's fine. She's the sweetest lady, and I love her to death. I don't like filming when people are home, and I feel like it would be rude to ask her, hey, can you leave the house for a few hours so I can do some of these things that I like to do? So the idea was we would get a 3-bedroom so that I could have a studio space. The 3rd bedroom would be my yarn room, my crafting room, my studio room, everything that I would need for continuing this. including continuing parts of my business, which is dying. I would have a little bit more room to maybe get some portable heating stuff. So it looks like that might not happen. It's a little bit out of our price range, so the 2-bedroom is an idea. The other idea is we let his mom have the 1-bedroom. That way we can keep it with the landlord. You know, I like the landlord here. He's really nice. He's also never around, which is also really nice. But then Lee and I take the 2-bedroom so that I can have my studio space. We can have a bigger place, but she doesn't need more than a 1-bedroom, and we'd still be able to work things out financially. And in terms of price, it would actually end up being about the same once you figure in utilities and everything else. So that's another option so that she could have her own space. So I don't know. There's a few things we've got to play with, a few things I'm worried about. First things first, we've got to find a place, and then we've got to figure everything else out. I would like to talk to her more about it, but I've been told like she's still grieving. It's not really the time, and it's really hard for me to balance I understand it's not the time, you know, she's grieving, I need to give her that time, but at the same time, like, we don't have a lot of time. Yes, she needs to grieve, but we need to figure this out. And she's got to be a part of it because it involves her. Anyway, very stressed in terms of that. So I need a vacation. I want a vacation. I want to take some time away, to not have to be at work, to not have to worry about things. I want to take like a week and to just leave by myself, not with Lee, not with anybody, just take 1 week, go somewhere else on my own, alone, and not have to worry about anything, and de-stress and decompress. And that's just not something I can financially do right now, but it's something that I definitely need, and I don't know what to do about that either. So yeah, that's where my life is at. But in terms of positive things going on in my life, we've made a few changes in terms of how the team is working at work. No, that does not mean the person that I mentioned in a podcast before I edited it out has been sacked. She's still there. We're on professional terms. Everything's fine, for anybody that's asking. But I've been working a little bit more closely with her in terms of the team. And, you know, we're coming up with some new things, some things we're actually kind of excited about. So that's going on. I actually really like my office job, which is weird for a creative person like me, because normally I can't sit still. That does not, however, mean that I like to leave the house. I am very much a homebody. But, so we've got some things going on with that. And it looks like my church gig is going pretty well. That's always a fun little thing that I just get out, do on the weekends. It's a nice extra little income when I need it. And what else? I think that's it. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's it. So, thank you for joining me, and for those of you who stuck around for the life updates, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of your support. I know you've been hearing a lot of negative things from me recently. I guarantee you, my life is not as bad as it sounds. It's really not. It really, there are a lot of good things that happen as well. They just don't seem as significant. Like, I told a joke at work today. Made me laugh. Like that's about all I can tell you. So, there's more that goes into the negative aspects of my life than goes into the positives, but the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. The things I'm worried about are definitely just at the back of my mind, things that I'm worrying about, but things that aren't, in overall they're not taking over my life, which is a good place to be. That's a really good place to be, especially with the things that go on in my life. So don't worry about me, but thank you for all of your support. Thank you for sticking around, and thank you for tuning into this podcast and staying a part of this wonderful family that we've got here at the Budget Knitter Podcast channel. I am going to go make, what time is it? 3:45? I haven't had lunch, so I'm going to have a late lunch, and then I think Lee and I are going to go out for, where are we going to go out? I think we were going to go see a movie. I think we were going to go see Mamma Mia 2. Is it good? I don't know. Anyway, I haven't seen the first one, so this might be interesting. But yeah, I think we're going to go do something like that. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I will see you again very, very soon here on the Budget Knitter Podcast channel. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, please leave me a comment, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.